Welcome back to activity 9 or the walkthrough activity 9. This activity specifically covers changing reports or to add groupings to existing reports. So in the previous activity we learned how to do groupings when we create a new report, but now let's say a report has been already created but the grouping has been left out. How do I add that grouping to my report? It's not so difficult. All right, so the activity asks us to open the Visual Arts database and gives us the following instructions. We have to first create a report called All Entries based on the table entries with number, name, surname, category, and grade as fields, and then we have to close it. All right, so I'm clicking again on create, and this one is easy. Report wizard, number, name, surname, category, and grade. Clicking on next, and I'm not going to apply a grouping now because I want to apply it later on, and I'm simply going to call this all entries, and I'm going to say finish, and then I'm closing this, and I'm going to close my report altogether. Then I have to create a copy of it. So I'm going to select all entries, and I'm going to copy it by pressing Control C and then Control V for making a copy. Or you can right click on it, copy, and then right click paste. So in this case I will call it all entries grouped, and I'm going to open that one. Okay, this is how it's looking at the moment. I'm going to select design view. Okay, so let me zoom in. So in the design, on the design tab, I have a icon over here, or an option to say group and sort. I can also right click on here and actually select sorting and grouping. So either way will do the following. It actually opens a way for me, and I'm going to zoom out, to add a group in the bottom of the field. I'm going to zoom in here in the bottom again, so now it says add a group. So if I select add group, I can now select the field that I want my report to be grouped on. So it asks us to actually group it according to the category field. So I'm going to select category, and there we say group on category. Over here I can also add a sort, and here I can say, okay, how do I want to sort it according to ascending order or descending order. And then later on I will show you that sometimes you can see here we have the report header, we have a page header, we have a category header, we have a detailed section, we have a page footer, but in between there the category header or the category footer is missing. Now the report footer is also missing, but I can simply drag it open. With the category footer, it is non-existent, so I can't even drag it open. So if I click on more in the bottom, I can actually go to the site, and here it says without a footer section, and I can change that to with a footer section. Now this particular activity does not ask us to do that, so I'm going to leave it. But just that you are aware that we can, if we have to add a footer section, we have to do it over there. So I'm going to click less, so we click on more, and then we say with footer section. Okay, so we have to adjust the appearance of the report by shading the fields neatly, removing the alternate row color, and making the group headings stand out clearly. So over here, my category header, I would add a label maybe that it doesn't allow me to add group. It's done that. Maybe I must first save. Let's save that. Okay, let's do a label. There we go. And now I can say here category. And you know how to do the format. So we can format, we can click on the detailed section, we can, make a nice alternative row color, maybe a nice gray. If I click now on home view, you can see it is nicely added. Category, but you look at this, it did not, so it is displaying the category field as well. So obviously we don't want that. And we have displayed category over here as well. We actually want to display mixed media there, drawing over there. So how am I supposed to do that? Where did I make the mistake? Or must I say deliberate mistake? Okay, instead of a label, I'm going to remove this. Simply press delete. We actually, if I click on a text box, and I can do that over here, and I will now remove the label. I don't want the label. Now I have to move it. There we go. And I can simply click delete. And over here in my text box, I will say now category. Very important that we spell this correctly. And I can move this to the side. Now, the layout of this is not very, nice. I actually would have, because we've grouped, I can actually remove my category field now as well. And I'm going to save this and look at this now. So now my category will say drawing, and I've got all the drawings over here, mixed media, etc., etc. All right, I hope that was helpful. Now let's move over to our second one, which means or it calls us to open the Database Arts Festival. We zoom out here, close this one, and yes, I will save it. And here we have our arts festivals. Now you can see nothing is showing. There's no tables. So if I select the little drop-down menu over here, I can, for example, say all access objects, and then all my tables, queries, and reports are visible. We have to open the report school information, this one, and we have to modify it by grouping the records according to school. So I click on view, design view, and then the grouping and sort is already on, so I'm moving to the bottom, and then I have to add a group, and we have to modify it according to school. All right, then tip, start by making a copy of the report school information and sorting it as storing it as school information group, then work with a copy. All right, let's say this German is good enough to do it without a copy, and I've got so many duplicate files of this, so you should listen and create a copy of this. And again, I will place a text box over here. I will delete the label, and simply write in here school. And now I can still do the formatting so that it looks neatly, but I'm not going to do that to save time. All right, and that's it. If I press save and view this, you can see we have the school names and the learners according to it. It seems like all these learners are actually, in each school there's only one learner. All right, then we're going to close this, and we open the book list database, and we have to open the report book list. You can see that it is already grouped according to author. We are asked the field value must be removed from the report, so the value, this has to be removed, and the records must be grouped according to grade instead of author. Work in Design View to do it as follows. So they're actually giving us some instructions. So I'm going to Design View, and now I have to remove the field value. So I simply select it and I press delete, and then the corresponding text box as well. Then we have to remove the grouping. So I'm going to go down, and there it says group on author. I can actually, click on this and say delete, or I can change this now from adding the grade. Oh, we don't have the grade actually on the report yet. So let's actually do it according to what they're asking us. So I'm going to select this, and I'm going to say yes, I want to delete the grouping. So I've removed my grouping now. You can see there's no grouping header as well. So then, okay, remove the grouping. Do this by moving the textbook from the author header detail section, then delete the group in the group sort and total panel. Okay, I must remove this one as well. Page header, detail section, there's no author anymore. Then add the grade to the report. So we have to add a field, so we can simply use a label in the page header, and we're going to call this grade. Although actually we don't need a label, because we actually want to create the label. I'm going to delete this again. We want the label to actually be in the grouping header. So all that I'm going to do is I'm going to take a text box, I'm going to add that to the detail section, and then I'm going to select my label over here. I'm going to delete that, move this one slightly over, and then I can go to my properties, data, and control source. I will now select grade for my text box, and then I can add the grouping over here in the bottom. Add a group according to grade, and in my grade header I will now put a label that will, now again I almost made the same mistake, and this time it wasn't deliberate. A section that will actually say, or look at this, I'm bubbling here. I can't make up my mind. I actually want to move this one, so I'm going to cut it. I'm going to click in here and I'm going to paste it in here. So my grade will be in the group header. Let's view this. So we have our grade. So I could actually still put a label. Oh, this German I think it's time for a holiday for all of us. So I'm going to put a label in my page header. I'm going to simply say here grade. And I want to format it according to the same way. So I click on format. No, it doesn't want to. Okay, there we go. Bold, and the color I'm going to make black. And now I can click on home, view, and there's grade 8, all the details 9, details 10, etc. All right, and that concludes activity 9.